You need to live like you're broke if you want to build wealth. And when I say wealth, I'm not talking about the big house in the hills or having a yacht. If that's what you want, and if that's your version of wealth, then that's fine. But you have to understand there's a lot of people who have those things who are not really wealthy. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Now, their paycheck may be $1 million, $2 million a year or a month, but they still are not building wealth because they're spending everything that they make. When I talk about building wealth, what I'm talking about is that after you buy the things that you need and the things that you want, do you still have a substantial amount of money left over so that you can build up a strong cash reserve, so that you can invest in things that can make you passive income, so that you can have long-term financial security? To me, that's wealth. And if you want to build wealth, then you need to learn to live like you're broke. You need to learn to live below your means. You need to learn to live in such a way where literally by someone looking at you, they could never tell how much money you have. In fact, when people look at you, they should underestimate how much money you have. Those are the richest people out there, the people with the greatest financial security. And I've been in the financial services industry for a long time. I have been a stockbroker. I've done insurance. I've been a financial analyst. I've worked across the board within the financial services industry. And I can tell you that the richest people that I've encountered in my career are people where when they walk in the room, you have no way of knowing how much money they have. Now, I'm not saying that they don't take care of themselves. I'm not saying that their hair isn't done. I'm not saying that they're not wearing quality clothes. But what I'm saying is that the brokest people who would come into my office and the brokest people I would encounter were the people who were always laced in designers and they were wearing their money. And there's nothing wrong with designer stuff. But my point is there are levels to this. If you are dressed down in designer, if you have a luxury car in your driveway where you're spending all this money to pay for this car and to maintain this car, if you're living in an expensive home and you got all these things, but at the end of the month, you don't have a substantial amount of money left aside to be able to save, if you're spending everything that you're making, then you're not doing it the right way. You got to live like you're broke. You need to become comfortable with the idea of spending less. And I'm going to say another piece of why this is so important beyond the obvious of you can't build wealth if you're spending everything you make. And another reason why you need to live like this is because there's a lot of snakes out here that are attracted to your abundance, or at least the perception of abundance. And snakes, they're not very bright. They're simply aggressive. So there are people out here who, if they see that they think you got a lot, then they will latch on to you to try to be your friend to get access to it. They will try to harm you as a way to get access to it. They will do whatever it takes to get access to it because they see all the trappings of money on you in terms of designer this, the car that, the lifestyle that you broadcast to the world through your Instagram, through your life, however it may be. And they're going to try to get access to that. And then before you know it, what you're doing is you're sitting up here trying to fight them off or trying to deal with that. And now you're putting more energy into dealing with snakes rather than dealing with building more abundance for yourself. You need to learn to live like you're broke. I'm not saying you can't enjoy your life. I'm not saying that you got to sit up here and eat leftovers every day. But what I'm saying is that you need to have, when you look at your paycheck or however much income you make, you need to decide what is the minimum amount that I need to be able to save every single month for me to be able to build wealth. Let's work backwards, right? How much do I need to save every month in order for me to be able to build wealth? What are my goals? You know, do I want to start a business? Do I want to buy a home? Whatever it may be. Or do I just want to have a strong rainy day fund? What amount is it I want to save every month? Pick that number. Let's say for you is I want to be able to save at least $1,000 a month. I'm making up a number. For some of y'all, it'll be substantially higher than that. For some of y'all, it'll be lower than that. That's fine. Pick your number. Then after you pick that number out, then what I want you to do is subtract that number from how much money you make in a given month. So let's say your number is $1,000 and you make $5,000 a month. That means 1,000 reduced from 5,000 is 4,000. That's how much you have left over each month after you've taken out this amount of money to pay yourself first. That's what we call it, pay yourself first. Then you build your other expenses around that 4,000. You do not dip into that 1,000 no matter what, unless it's for something that can make more money for you. Because if you keep on doing your bills in the opposite way, which is the way that a lot of us were taught to do it directly or indirectly, which is you pay for everything you need and everything you want, then whatever's left over is what you save, then you will always be left with less than enough. You will never be able to build wealth because what we have is income creep, where the more money you make, the more money you spend. And therefore, even though you end up making more money, you're spending more money. And therefore, the amount of money that you have left aside to be able to, frankly, build wealth with, to build savings with, to build financial security with, to be able to build towards financial freedom, you're not going to be able to ever do that. You know, for me, I've had the benefit of being able to travel all around the world and meet so many different people. And I will tell you that some of the people who I've met who live with the most financial freedom, and when I say financial freedom, I'm talking about people who in some cases don't work at all. They literally do not work at all. They live very comfortable, nice lives. They're able to travel, they're able to do what they want to do. These are people who are not rich. They never were rich. They are simply people who were diligent savers. They set money aside, set money aside, set money aside throughout their career, throughout whatever periods of time in their life. And these are not always older people. I met a guy recently who was in his 30s, who basically, you could call it retired if you want to, where that's how his lifestyle is. They save money, save money, save money. And with that money that they were saving, they then could use that to invest in different things that can make the money. They could go out and start a business that could be passive income for themselves. They could do investments in the stock market or wherever else if they were someone who were knowledgeable enough about how to do that. They had the money to be able to do something with it. You can't invest in nothing if you don't have no money set aside. And the thing that I've recognized is that the people with the greatest financial freedom were not always the richest people. Because I know a whole lot of rich people who work their behinds off to stay rich. The people with the greatest financial freedom are the people who simply knew how to pay themselves first and know how to save money because they know how to live like they're broke. And when you see these people, 9 times out of 10, they don't drive expensive cars. 9 times out of 10, they don't wear expensive clothes and things of that nature. I'll even tell you for myself, you know, people compliment me on what I wear. I love your clothes. I love your clothes. Most of my clothes come from either online, you know, different places like Amazon and stuff like that. Depending on what country I'm in, I'll go to various different markets where they sell cheaper clothes and things like that. They're new, but they're cheaper. I don't make any bones about it. I think the shirt I'm wearing right now, it's a cute shirt. I may have paid, I don't know, maybe $10 US for this shirt. My thing is, do it look good? Show good on camera, show good when I'm out to dinner in person, then that's all that matters to me. If you worried about what label I have on this shirt, then baby, you broker than me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money because the only people who worry about that kind of stuff are broke. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, I don't mind people saying that they think I'm broke. I don't mind people saying, didn't you wear that shirt before? I did. That's why I got a washing machine. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Because the reality for me is that I did all that worrying when I was young. My 20s and my early 30s was consumed with trying to create a certain image for other people. Meanwhile, I was broke. Meanwhile, I was at risk of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, I was going through a lot of craziness. Why would I repeat that in my life? As I've gotten older and financial security has become more of a priority for me, what I've had to learn is that it is more important to live like you're broke. Spend the least amount of money to maintain the lifestyle that you desire. Do not spend unnecessarily on things. Don't be offering to help people. Baby, let me tell you this. This is going to be controversial for some of y'all to hear. Unless they are your child, who's a minor, if you have to help that full-grown adult financially, then they probably don't need your help. Let me explain what I mean by that. The people out here who will come to you saying, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Are usually people who don't need your help. What they need is they need to make better choices or make different kind of choices for their life so they're not in this position. The reality is, in the same way you can go through your life without having to constantly ask people for help. And yes, occasionally we may have to ask people for help, but that should not be the rule of them. That should be the exception to the rule. So if you're able to go through your life without having to constantly ask people for help financially, then why can't they? You have to have boundaries on that. Living like you're broke means that if you were broke, would you loan this person money? Would you give this person money? No, because that money is for you. So if you're living like you're broke, that means saying no to people when they ask for money from you. Right? If you're living like you're broke, that means before you go out and buy that new thing or take that extra trip someplace, asking yourself, can I truly afford this? Can I do this trip? Can I pay for this thing and still be able to save money this month at the level that I've targeted for myself? If not, baby, I'm too broke to do it. You know? Living like you're broke means putting a limit on what you spend so that you can maximize on what you save for yourself and what you invest towards your future. Who cares if you have a nice car and a big house and nice clothes if you have no money in the bank? Who cares what you have if you got laid off tomorrow? You could be in foreclosure or be evicted within a month or two because you really don't have savings like that. Be real with yourself. How much do your bills come out to each month? How much do your bills come out to each month? Now, how much savings do you have compared to that? I'm asking you so you can start to think through, if I were to lose my income tomorrow, how many months could I go? Or for that matter, how many years could I go if you're a diligent saver until I run out of money? Living like you're broke means spending as little as possible so you can have a strong rainy day fund. So if anything happens to you, you're good. One of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my life is when the rent was due on the 1st. I remember this. I was living in LA. I live right by the Grove, if you're familiar with LA. And I remember the rent was due on the 1st. And here we are on the 28th of the month or something like that, 28th, 29th, one of those days. And I didn't even have half of the rent, not even barely 25% of the rent. And I remembered, I was like, so scared. I couldn't sleep at night. I was like, what am I going to do? They're going to put me on the street and blah, 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 blah. That was one of the worst feelings on earth. And when I thought back on it to a period before that, when I was making good money, I was like, dang, I wish I would have saved. Dang, I would have put money. I wish I'd have put money aside. Dang, I wish I wasn't going on all these trips everywhere. Living like you're broke means planning for a day where your income may not be what it is today, so that you don't have to worry and stress about the financial inconsistencies of life. Your money will go up and your money will go down in life. That's just a reality. That's a reality for everybody. But if you live like you're broke consistently, then you will always have extra money so that no matter what happens, life don't have to shake you. You good. Live like you're broke. And then you will see that that will allow you to have a greater foundation for being able to build wealth for yourself. Live like you're broke. Trust me, you won't regret it. If this message resonates for you, go ahead and comment below this video and let me know. And comment below and let me know any other topics you want me to cover. And of course, click like and click share on this video so that other people can see it as well. And if you don't have my best-selling book, Get Out of Your Own Way, a guide telling you the stuff that's holding you back, click the link that's directly above or below this video to get your copy. And we even have the audio version that I'm reading.